So before this video starts, I'm just giving a brief warning. This video does contain spoilers of the latest Hunter x Hunter manga chapter 357. So if you haven't finished reading that chapter or you are not up to date, stop watching this video as it contains spoilers. Okay, so let's get right into the video. Some people might be confused on how Hisoka was able to reanimate himself and survive the explosion avoiding overall death as he is now alive, and I'm going to be explaining this in this video, and it's basically just revolves around conditions that Hisoka sets. First, I just want to quickly mention that this video isn't really about does it actually make sense how Hisoka survived death or not. As you know, people can argue both sides. People will argue that it's fine because the conditions Hisoka sets, and others will argue in a negative that Togashi just conveniently wrote this in, but I disagree with that based on some points I'll mention below in this video. And also, there's a point to the negative that actually kind of makes sense. In chapter 355, Hisoka actually mentions that he had trouble manipulating his nen after his left hand and right foot was blown off from two small explosions. So Hisoka had trouble then controlling his nen, but now can execute his nen perfectly now to survive death from this explosion on a much larger scale from 200 puppets. So, it's kind of a bit contradictory here, but it's not really a big issue at all, really. I think we're just enjoying what we got in this chapter. But just to state it, Hisoka was 100% dead, as it was definitely confirmed by the troop members. So we can clearly see injuries to the face, neck. He's already blown off right foot and left hand, and also his body was practically burnt all over. So yeah, definitely dead. But we have to remember this. Shalnak mentions the cause of death is suffocation. So Hisoka wasn't breathing for a period of time. That's why they all thought he was dead. He was in a state where he was dead for a certain amount of time, but then he reanimated. He came back to life. He reanimated with his nen aura, but his bungee gum. Now, this is how it happened. So Hisoka protected his lungs with his injured hand and put the intact hand around his own heart and placed a nen condition on it. So, uh, so after Hisoka was dead, he activated it along with his heart and lungs and surrounded them all together and expanded them and contracted them. Because as Hisoka is able to contract, as it says in a manga panel in this chapter, this is the process of how he reanimates, how he is revived, how he survives death. But the hand on the heart is the crucial element here. Without this, this nen condition would not work. As you can see, the hand intact has aura, which pulses the heart, which eventually leads to Hisoka breathing and coughing when he wakes up. So also, I want to mention another factor that it it might have helped. It probably did actually helped Hisoka survive the hundred of puppets that surrounded Hisoka, cushioning him in the explosion. As it was explained in this chapter, it lessened the impact of the damage to Hisoka, as seen only he had severe burns and scars, as well as he just had the already destroyed left hand and right foot. He didn't have any other severe injuries, so it's kind of I didn't really like this explanation, but I guess we just have to accept this. Now, at this stage, I'm not sure whether or not Hisoka's nen has gotten stronger after death as much he thought. I'm not 100% certain about it at the moment. Um, as Hisoka's condition, it's not as intense as like Gon's was in the Chimera Antarc. I'd kind of put this condition like the one Gon found on Jing's tape recorder, where it deleted itself no matter where Jing was, or if he was still alive or already dead. It deleted it automatically. So it's kind of like that in a sense. But if Corolla eventually fights Hisoka again in the Dark Continent, and if the power gap is significantly closer than what it was before, when we just had this fight in the Heavens Arena where the fight's actually really even, we can't tell who's really winning, because in this fight we just had, we can obviously tell that Corolla dominated this fight, and if it's closer, then that could be some evidence to prove that Hisoka's aura got stronger after death, which is obviously would be because of his power increase versus Crawler. But that's all I have to explain in this explanation video. Hope it made sense. Signing off now. Thanks for watching this video. Rate, comment, share if the masses, and subscribe for more Hunter x Hunter material. Thanks, guys.